Welcome to the Verdin Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin, joined by my guy, G-Sportz. G, what's good? How you feeling? How was your Memorial Day, man?
It was good, man. It was good, man. I've been relaxing, playing a little NCAA football, getting my little workout in. So I've been enjoying this week so far.
Oh, gee, man, you had to bring up bad memories. I ain't forget about your steak, dog. I ain't forget about it. I ain't lying, though. I might be ducking you for that rematch. I don't think I can take the smoke no more. I don't know. I might have to work a little harder on that one. They just announced CFB 26. You saw Nussmeyer on the cover. They got the pre-orders going around.
But is
Everybody's
he really
kind of
gonna be on
hyped.
the cover though?
It's like a combined cover. You know what I'm saying? It's
Got it.
like so many people on it. It's a deluxe edition. The first two, I think it's Ryan Williams, and I don't know who the second guy is, but the original cover will be
Probably
two.
Jeremiah Smith.
I think so. But Nussmeyer gonna have a little bit of a cameo, so it'll be interesting. But we're gonna break down some recruiting news for y'all today. We're gonna talk about some Twitter headlines that made me scratch a head a little bit, or two or three. Jake Haener injury. What does that mean for the Saints and NBA playoffs? First things first, G. Recruiting visit. The wide receiver trio that's committed to the Tigers came in and visited during Memorial Day. Tristan Keys, Jabari Mack, Kenny Darby. Little Memorial Day celebration. But how important do you think it is to not only keep them on campus and get them around the building, the facility, the coaches, but locking in three of the top 10 wide receivers of this class and keeping that wide receiver, you know, that strap.
Uh, Again, man, my stance still stay the same when it comes to Tristan Keys. I don't think LSU fans should be getting excited about him being committed. I think he's playing the game right now, and not saying that he won't sign that national letter of intent with LSU, but I think it's far from over. Anytime you got a kid that's out of state and they don't have any real ties to LSU, you got to know that it's going to be up in the air if he's going to sign. So, Ole Miss, Bama, Texas A&M, all USC, these big time programs, man, they're gonna throw a blank check at him, and it's just gonna come down to, does he value LSU as wide receiver U, and can that supersede, what the NIL can offer him from other schools. Uh, Jabari Mack, I think he's pretty solid. I could see him, maybe taking an official visit or two to some other schools just to, go see some other things. But I think he's pretty solid. Kenneth Darby, though, man, I think he's one of the receivers that's committed to this class that even when Ja'Kai Anderson was committed, that people really didn't talk about. The receiver from Airline High School, I really, really like Kenneth Darby. I think that he's someone that people don't really know a whole lot about because he's in the Shreveport, Louisiana area. They don't get the media coverage that South Louisiana gets. But if you get a chance, man, go check Kenneth Darby film out, man. Raw runner, high points, it plays taller than what his height is. I think he's like 5'11", 6 foot. Really, really good player, man. I think he's somebody that LSU fans need to really start paying attention to because he's going to be one of the better players in this class.
And keeping someone like Kenny home, it's always important to get the talent in the boot because you hear the Nick Sabans and all these different great coaches talking about shaking a tree in Louisiana and 4 or 5 stars, NFL calibers, wide receivers falling out of it. I think this is another one of those situations. With the Tristan Keys aspect, yeah, I'm gonna pump the brakes a little bit, at least for my excitement, because he got another visit this week, G. He's heading to Miami. They're gonna do the whole shebang, get him in the drop top, probably bring him with Rick Ross. And we know how Mario Cristobal's been working over there, dropping checks, doing what they gotta do. I'm a little worried though, because you got a lot more people in the mix than I would be comfortable with. And in this world of NIL, it ain't over till it's over. Matter of fact, even when you think it's over, even when signing day happens, it's still got a little bit of finagling that you could do. I think his final official visit could be at LSU, if I'm not mistaken. But if you had to pitch to Tristan Keys, what would you say? Is it a wide receiver you pitch? Is it a developmental pitch? Is it a, come over here and be with the coaching staff? What would you say to try to lock him in and make him not look otherwise?
Obviously, you could set a wide receiver you pitch to him all day and tomorrow. When you talk about the top receivers in the league, where they come from, LSU, Justin Jefferson, 1A, Jamal Chase, 1B. Brian Thomas emerging. He had over 1,000 yards this past season as a rookie. Malik Neighbors, a rookie, had over 1,000 yards as a rookie. For the Giants, that was a Pro Bowler. You go back and you talk about Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry. I can go on a Dwayne Bowe. I mean, we can go name for name when you talk about LSU. And we could talk about the developmental part. And I always talk about the opposite side of the ball when it comes to development when we talking about receivers, because it's just not so much about Cortez Hankton, getting them in the lab and working on the details of route running and knowing how to, be a real pure receiver as they get ready to go to the NFL. It's about going against the Derek Stingley's on the other side of the ball. It's about going against the Christian Fultons on the other side of the ball. It's about going against the Patrick Petersons on the other side of the ball. It's about going against DJ Pickett every day in practice on the other side of the ball. That's what gets you prepared for the NFL, bro. That's what iron sharper iron, as cliche as it might sound, and that's what made Jamar Chase and Terrence Marshall and Justin Jefferson so good. It was going against a top 5 pick, and it was going against somebody in Christian Fulton who went second round, who could have been a first round pick, but he had some durability issues. So when you're going against guys like that, Cordell Flott, like they was going against some really good ballers. When you're going against guys like that, bro, you only gonna get better. And I think that's what Tristan Keys got to think about. When he started trying to decide if he wants to explode, not being an LSU Tiger, and then the national brand. We all know there's not too many college programs in the country that could brand their athlete like LSU. You saw what they did with Kyron Lacy last year. He turned into a household name. And this is something that's gonna continue on and on and on. And so I just think Tristan Keys needs to think about that. But again, money talking, bullshit walk. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. That's the worrisome part here in the situation. They got another prospect here that I think will be visiting LSU soon. Another one of those situations. You're competing with a lot of people, blank checks, great institutions, obviously, but Emmanuel Iheanacho, 5-star offensive tackle, number 3 overall prospect in the country. Look, this would be huge for Brad Davis and Brian Kelly. They've been developing and getting in studs at the offensive line, whether it be tackle, guard, center, whatever the case may be. I feel like this is another one of those spots that you have to look towards if you're in that position. But now you're competing with Oregon, and everybody's got their crystal ball, and it's kind of getting less and less valuable, or kind of less and less credible, rather, because it is hard to say, hard to predict, especially at this point. I mean, we're literally sitting here in May, early June. You really don't know what he could do. But what do you think about that potential recruit, that blue chip? You think that they're going to be able to somehow sway his decision from the Ducks, or is that one going to be a little too tough?
When you talk about this situation, I don't know the dynamics between his relationship with Brad Davis or anybody on his staff. That's gonna play a part when you start trying to get somebody to come that far away from home. They're gonna have to have some comfortability with being far and having people on that staff that they feel comfortable with. I just don't. I'm not really too familiar with this situation with this particular recruit. But I mean, Brad Davis does a great job recruiting. I'm pretty sure his family's gonna love, the way Brad Davis approaches showing them how he plans on taking care of their son over the next 3 to 4 years if he decides to come. When you talk to people like Will Campbell, he said that Brad and him had a relationship outside of football, and I think that's always key. And I'm pretty sure they're going to get him on the phone with Will Campbell and Emory Jones and Frazier and Dellinger and guys like that. And then you got people that's returning, like DJ Chester and Mabinga and guys like that who played Tyree Adams. They're going to be able to, communicate to him and let him know that, look, Brad is a really, really good coach, and he's going to develop you as well. And so if they can get him signed and delivered, tell us man, the future is bright in Baton Rouge. Because Weston Davis got to come back next year. Tyree Adams got to come back next year. DJ Chester got to come back next year. Mabinga got to come back next year. Like, they got a lot of guys that have SEC experience playing that got to come back. And so to have him in the fold, bro, that'll be huge for him. So we're gonna see.
I agree. Yeah, speaking on your point about Brad Davis, the connections, the relationships, the camaraderie. I mean, I went to Emory Jones' Big 50 camp last summer, and it wasn't just Emory, Will, Bo. No, it was everybody. It was the whole offensive line room. It was the coaching staff. It was even trainers, assistants on the side. I mean, they all stick together, and they do damn near everything together. And it's not just like they're showing up to work. I mean, bro, they having fun, joking around. I feel like that environment is pretty pivotal in how they're all going to be able to succeed and all boats rise. Everybody feels like they have a part in the room, and hopefully this can, be a message relayed to him.
Yep.
Another prospect that I want to pick your brain about, Bo Bentley, quarterback. I believe he's from Texas. How important is this one, you think, after last season not getting a quarterback? Bryce Underwood goes to your partners in Michigan, gets a check. How do you focus on this one? Because you do have Michael Van Buren, you do have Colin Hurley, so it's a little bit of a limbo, G. Like, you don't necessarily want to get another transfer and have those two grow legs and leave, but maybe a younger prospect like this will be able to kind of stay in the room a little bit, chill out, develop. Do you think this is a focus here, and this is something that they're going to be able to bring in?
Bo Bentley is a prospect that I think that LSU is not pressed about trying to sign in his class. Don't get me wrong. If he says he want to be a LSU Tiger, they're gonna say come on down because he's super talented, and he's definitely somebody that's gonna probably be a starting quarterback in college football at a big time school and have a lot of success. But you got Michael Van Buren. He's probably gonna redshirt this year unless something that happened to Nussmeier. So you're gonna have him as a redshirt sophomore after this year when Nussmeier leave. And I think Michael Van Buren is really good. I really do. I got a lot of faith in that kid. Like I go back to some episodes ago when we talked about him when he first decided to transfer. Just this one Saturday, I think Georgia was playing Mississippi State and have no other good games on TV, and I just happened to be watching it. And I'm telling you, Michael Van Buren impressed me. And if you could throw for 300 plus yards and 3 tutties, and I think he might have threw 1 interception, and had Mississippi State going toe to toe with Georgia as a true freshman, that told me all I needed to know about Michael Van Buren. And then watching him throughout the spring, bro. I hope people don't take this as I'm trying to throw a shot at Nussmeier because I'm not. But in spring, I thought he looked just as good as Nuss. I really did. Except I think he's more of an athlete. I know he's more of an athlete than Nussmeier. So with him having a whole year under his belt, knowing the offense, and then you got to know that he's going to be a quarterback that's going to be at LSU probably for 2 years. If we go on our recent history, a quarterback that comes in and starts his first year usually doesn't leave. So I don't know if Bo Bentley wants to hang around for that long to be able to get his opportunity. And then you still got somebody like Colin Hurley. You got Colin Hurley, and you still got Jawan Johnson in that quarterback room. And no disrespect to them guys, but I think Bo Bentley probably saying himself, I could beat out them guys. I don't know if I could beat out Michael Van Buren, especially with him having SEC experience, especially with him having a year in his built under this offense and being more comfortable. Do I want to hang around and wait 2 years behind him? So I'm sure LSU gonna push the issue to try to get him, because I would imagine that one of these quarterbacks gonna transfer after this year. He's either gonna be Jawan Johnson, Colin Hurley. It could possibly be Michael Van Buren. I don't see that happening, but it could possibly be him. I don't anticipate all those quarterbacks being back in that room next year when Nussmeier decides to leave. I just don't see it. And so it's just gonna depend on what Bentley's mind at. Does he want to play early? Does he have a desire to sit for a year or maybe 2 years before he get his opportunity, like Nussmeier did? That remains to be seen. But I don't think LSU, from what I'm hearing from the staff, I don't think they're pressed to get him signed in his 26 class.
And it's such a limbo period, G. You've already seen guys like Walker Howard, Ricky Collins come and go, not necessarily not want to wait their turn, but just like this is the age of college football you're in. You don't got to sit here and take the Nussmeier route or the Carson
route. And shout out to Ricky Collins, man. Syracuse head coach named him the starter right after the spring. So, it turned out to be a good situation for him to transfer out and go to a program like Syracuse, where I think Ricky is going to really do good. We all knew with him coming out of high school, bro, he had all the tools to be, a top tier quarterback in the country. So I can't wait to see him on Saturdays, man, and see how it all turn out for him.
I think it'll be a good situation for sure. Let's move into this Twitter headline segment. So we're going to kind of debut a new one. It's just going to be a little reactionary segment. I'm taking the top 3 headlines that I found the most interesting. And we're going to start off with something that, I feel like we've been trying to warn people, introduce the idea a little bit, let them know, hey, it's possible. It might seem really, off the wall, but now you got Greg Sankey talking about he got people asking him, why are you still in the NCAA? Why is the SEC still even playing around with any of these revenue sharing or splitting broadcast deals, whatever the case may be, the head honcho's bringing it up. It could be leverage. It could be a play to try to, make the NCAA do their bidding and do the 16-4 for each Power 2 conference, quite frankly, with Big Ten and SEC, give them the 4 seeds inside. But like you said, stop poking the damn bear, dog. You're getting close. You already been poking it. Now you're at a point where the bear's pissed off and it's backing you into a corner, and you're going to have to respond quickly, and you ain't going to be able to fight it. You either going to piss it off and it murks you, or you're going to have a really, really sticky situation on your hands. As you dive deep into this, as of right now, he says he's exploring a potential split from the NCAA with the SEC. Now, I think you'd be a damn fool to think Big Ten wouldn't join in on that. If you watch the SEC do this, they're probably going to follow suit. I feel like that's kind of been what we have been talking about and warning. But yeah, he's putting the NCAA on notice. It could be a leverage play, like I said. Gee, what was your instant reaction when you see this pop across your feed?
I mean, this has been something we've been talking about for some months now, bro. The NCAA, they just don't get it. They just don't get it. Why in the world would you want to make the head honcho, the person that's bringing in the most, well, not the most revenue last year, but if you look over a 10 to 15 year span, that SEC has been generating the most revenue out of all the conferences. Why would you want to piss these people off? I don't understand. And if Sankey decides to go do their own thing and start their own league, the NCAA will suffer from it, bro. You talking about $600, $700, $800 million a year that these people are bringing in. The TV broadcasts. You think they're going to stay with the NCAA? They're going to follow the SEC, bro. They're going to follow them. And I just don't understand their mindset and what they're trying to do. If I'm the NCAA, I'm having several meetings with Mr. Sankey from now all the way to the season start. Look, how can we get on the same page? If we did anything to rub you the wrong way, I apologize. Let's get on the same page. We cannot allow the SEC to leave the NCAA. And don't talk about they bring the Big Ten with them. The NCAA will be doomed. So, Sankey, I'm glad he came out and said that. Put pressure on him. I love to see it.
Yeah, this is a full court press right here by the SEC, quite frankly. You're going to have to change the damn acronym from NCAA to RIP if this happens. I'm not going to lie to you. It'll be interesting to keep watching this. We'll keep tabs on it. Another thing, though, I want to point out here, G, whoever is in these conferences might not even be the finalized group if this would hypothetically happen. You've already seen Clemson, Florida State, other big schools try to poke around and get into the SEC, the Big Ten. I don't know if they ever do another conference realignment, but the fact that they're potentially thinking about splitting, more teams could join, more teams could leave. This could be more than a Big Ten and an SEC split. They could really watch some disastrous stuff happen. I can't lie to you.
No doubt.
About this situation as well, keep it SEC related. Coach Sark hops on the Sirius XM College Sports Podcast, and he says that there was some irresponsible reporting that he wishes they had $40 million on their roster. They'd probably be a little bit better. I got a couple of things to say about this. So I feel like he could be deflecting, trying to avoid some scrutiny. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for Texas to get into this budget. We've been talking about the money that they have, all the different little tools that they've been able to utilize. Now, yeah, 40 million is a hell of a lot of money, but gee, come on, they got to be spending the most money in the SEC. So even if it ain't 40, they still throwing checks all over the place. What's your take on this one? You think that he's bluffing like he's at a poker table, or he's keeping it 100?
Sark is really, really funny. You right. Y'all budget might not be 40 million. It's probably 39.5. Okay, they might have not got the number exactly right. So come on, bro. You know it's close to 40 million. It's around 38, $39 million that y'all spending on NIL, bro. I know 4 players on Texas personally right now that's making 400 plus grand. There are what? 60 to 70, 75 players on the roster. Now, all 75 ain't getting paid that kind of money. But what you think Quinn Ewers is getting paid?
Bank.
What you think Arch Manning getting paid?
Bank.
What you think that offensive line getting paid?
Boop.
Bro, they look. That probably varies from year to year. All right. They might have spent $39 million last year. This year they might be spending 30. 29. I don't know. But I think that's a accurate report of $40 million. Of course, you're not going to get the number right on the head. All right. But I think it's around $40 million they spent like this past season.
I'm gonna agree with you here. I think it's all about how you do the wordplay, right? And he got put in a little bit of a rough spot. I don't know if he was anticipating that question or whatever the case may be. But look, hey, he might be a damn good poker player trying to bluff right in front of everybody. I
And
ain't
look,
buying it though. I'm
yeah,
calling
and
right
look,
now.
right. And look, if I was Saul, I would have did the same thing. I'm not saying he's wrong for denying it, because if you come out and you admit that y'all spent $40 million in NIL money on y'all roster, all the prospects in the country, that's gonna be their main focal point when they come on a visit or when y'all start
100%.
recruiting them. Man, y'all spent $40 million last year. Man, my son deserved this, this, and this. So I get it. He should deny it, but we know better.
Way better. I ain't gonna lie. Gee, this is the last topic we're gonna talk about in our Twitter headlines. Georgia Tech. They got some ice, apparently. Some damn ice. I don't know why. I don't know for what. 2024, quite frankly, in my opinion, I'm gonna say it's a horrible season. Gee, 7-6, lost in the Birmingham Bowl to Vandy. Didn't even get a bowl game victory. Yeah, they got an appearance, but I don't get it. How the hell are we giving out rings like candy? Gee, matter of fact, you want a ring? You think we should go buy some rings, get a couple championships on our hands, bro? Might as well. I feel like this is a participation ring. The best thing they did all season. Georgia, 8 overtime, still lost, by the way. Yeah, they opened up the season against Florida State, and Haynes King showed off in Dublin, Ireland. But gee, 500 bowl game loss, and they're iced up to the gills. I mean, look at that ring. It looks like a title ring. If I didn't tell you all of those statistics, all of those outcomes, you would have thought the damn Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets won a national title. What is this?
Obviously, we understand that Georgia Tech is not known for football. We know that. So celebrating a winning season, I get it. You want to have some type of momentum going into the next season. I get it. But if you want to get your team some rings, keep that shit on the hush, bro. Get the rings out. Do something intimately with your team after practice or when fall camp starts. However you want to do it. But don't post that on social media, bro. You posting that like y'all just won a damn championship. You posting that as if you won a bowl game. You lost to Vandy. Vandy is the worst team in the SEC year in and year out.
Straight up.
I'm just confused on why would you publicize these rings. Nice rings, by the way. I love them. Something I will. Very classy. But I just think that they should have kept that in house, and it really makes them one of the laughing stocks of college football right now.
I agree. I'm gonna have to get you a ring, dog. I'm gonna put Nostradamus on it, shave that T off, and keep G on it. Shit, we might as well. Might as well get iced up. Everybody doing it. We just gonna join the trend. I don't know. We have to figure that out. I'm gonna switch gears. Talk about New Orleans Saints. Everybody saw the news. Jake Haener, oblique injury. He'll be out for a few weeks. Now, it's not the biggest deal. Not a season-ending injury. He's going to be able to come back for training camp. However, it popped a question into my head. Gee, should the Saints, after seeing Derek Carr hit the road, after seeing Jake Haener pull a little bit of a oblique muscle, is there a worry about quarterback depth, and should you potentially address it? You don't have a lot of names to choose from. A couple of them I'll read to you in terms of available free agents. You got Carson Wentz, who's 32, is kind of getting up there. Desmond Ridder, who's 25, same age as Tyler Shaw, interestingly enough. Jake Fromm. It's not superstars, but it's more like, in my opinion, insurance for the injuries. Because, like I said, NFL football is going to be tough. You're not going to have 100% of your team healthy through and through. And unfortunately, in New Orleans, Pelicans or Saints, there's a lot of injuries to go around. Osner's been kind of getting roughed up. But do you wait and see what happens midseason? And if you need it, sign it? Or are you in a situation where, you're getting a little worried and you're going to try to put another body in that room because of something like this?
As much as I believe in Kellen Moore as a quarterback developer, going back to what he did with Jalen Hurts, second round pick, nobody expected him to be a franchise quarterback. I think Kellen Moore did a phenomenal job with him. Dak Prescott, fourth round pick, if I'm not mistaken, right there from Hardin High School in Louisiana. I thought he did a great job with him. Now, Justin Herbert was a first round pick, but I thought he played a big role into his development. And so I don't doubt that Kellen Moore is going to do a great job of preparing these guys and getting rid of some bad habits and doing his best to get them to reach their full potential. Having said all that, I always like to have a veteran in that room that has done it before and has been a starter and has had some success in the league.
For sure.
And I think they need to explore that option. Jake Haener getting hurt, I don't think this is a big deal. I don't even know why this is a headline. I don't even know why Saints fans are even talking about this. I think this will be Jake Haener's last game. I mean, I say last game, last season in the black and gold. They need to move on from Jake Haener.
Yep.
Go ahead and sign Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz is somebody that he was an MVP candidate at one time. Uh, he played an intricate part in that Eagles team and how far they went that year when they won a Super Bowl, even though Nick Foles was the one that won it. If Carson Wentz don't have the type of season he was having to start at all, who the Eagles don't have a number 1 seed, or was it the number 2 seed? I don't remember. They had a top seed in the playoffs that year. And I know Carson Wentz is not the Carson Wentz of old. We know that, but he's done it at a high level. All right. He has a lot of experience in his league, and so I think that would be great to put in that room next to Tyler Shaw and next to Spencer Rattler, and you let them figure it out. If you go into this season with Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shaw, the undrafted free agent they got from is it Arizona State?
It is.
Yeah. I just think that you're putting too much pressure on Tyler Shaw or Spencer Rattler, whoever the starter going to be. They need a veteran in that room to help them and show them along the way. It can't always be coming from the coach. You need somebody that's going through the fire with you, to be able to help you out. And I think that's big for their development. So I hope they really consider signing Carson Wentz and bringing him to the Big Easy.
Yeah, I agree because out of the quarterbacks, the most experienced one you got's a 2-year vet. Gee, I ain't even a vet. You still green at that point. And to build off your point on Jake Heiner's last year, yeah, they having a 3-man competition right now. By the time he comes back, he's already going to be fizzled out of that. They're already going to know what they got with Spencer. They're going to know what they got with Tyler. He's not going to have much chance to be able to compete even. If he had any chance, it would have been now. And the biggest takeaway for sure that I have from this is, you might want to add another body in this spot, especially if you got a guy like Carson Wentz or Ridder available. It's cheap. You don't got to spend no money on him. He ain't even
I don't
doing
want
that.
Ridder.
You don't want Ridder? Why? It's too young? Not enough experience?
Not enough experience. Haven't really had any success in the league. How the hell you going to tell me how to do my job and you ain't do it good when you was with Atlanta? And you was a first round. Was he the first round pick? I think he was.
I'm not sure, but they damn near the same age too. That was one of the
I
things
think
that I had to
Desmond Ridder
point
was a
out.
first round pick, bro, if I'm not mistaken. But
Let's go double check.
man, we need somebody in that room that has done it at a high level, and Carson Wentz has done that. So that's who you need to bring in there. Desmond Ridder, nah.
He's a 3rd-round pick.
3rd round pick. I'm sorry. But he started. He started it for the Falcons, and he didn't have success at all. So Carson Wentz is the one that had the most success. Jake Fromm, no, hell no, absolutely not.
Hey, they got
Absolutely
one more
not.
name that I ain't mentioned, and I know it's because he's busy coaching and all that, and I know they ain't trying to do the
Teddy
reunion.
Bridgewater.
There you go, Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater ain't gonna come unless the Saints make it to the playoffs, and he just coming after his high school season over, like he did with the Lions.
Yeah. Hopefully Kellen Moore can figure this out, though. I don't want the Saints to be up shit creek without a paddle. Real quick, before we hop out of here, let's talk about these NBA playoffs. Let's react to what happened yesterday. My boy Burton. Pacers went up 3-1. Hallie was 1 board away from a triple-double at halftime, G. I mean, good Lord. 3rd player ever in NBA history to have a 30, 15, and 10 triple-double. The other 2, you can guess them, Jokic and Oscar Robertson. Every single time there's a triple-double stat, you can guarantee Oscar Robertson is in there. I feel like right now is the peak momentum for the Pacers. I mean, they just went out and flashed through everybody in these playoffs, whether it be the Cavaliers, whether it be the Knicks. You got Hallie hitting all these sellies. He's hitting a Jalen Brunson selly with the Halliburton. Had his pops back in the stands. Rob 4-9 in the stands. His little good luck charms. Can't forget Siakam. Had 30 points to go along with this triple-double, so very complimentary. This one feels like it is wrapped up. Put a bow on it, over with. Pacers going to the finals. That's how I'm feeling. Now, look, I don't want to be one of those infamous clips that live on the internet forever, so I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you and let you take it. But, hey, I'm feeling good.
Tyrese Halliburton, man, what he has done in his playoffs, I think he has turned a lot of heads from a standpoint of when you start talking about top players in the NBA, top point guards in the NBA, you got to say his name. I feel like your legacy is built what you did, what you do in the playoffs, bro. That's why, going back to when James Harden was playing with my Rockets, for people that don't know, I'm a diehard childhood Rockets fan. And one thing that I've always said about James Harden was really good regular season player. When the playoffs come, he's not the same. No. And I feel like that's where you build your legacy at. You build your legacy, what you do in the postseason. And what Halliburton is doing in the postseason on a team that's not star-studded. People need to understand, and I think that's what's making this more impressive. It's easier to do it when you got Steph Curry next to you. You got Klay Thompson next to you when he was in his prime. That's why people gave Kevin Durant a lot of flack. LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh,
Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love,
the Celtics, Paul Pierce. You had Ray Allen, you had Kevin Garnett. It's a little easier when you getting the third best defender on the floor sticking you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Halliburton is getting everybody best defender, bro. And he's still putting them on skates. He's still getting buckets. He's still diming that thing, right? And he's still getting the dub. Super impressive, bro. Super impressive. With that roster, impressive. I think Pascal Siakam, I've been saying it since the playoffs started, he's the most important player on that Pacers team because he does a lot of different things to fill up the box score. He does things that doesn't show up in the box score. And any given night, Pascal Siakam could give you 30 like he did the night before. So I think Halliburton, when it's all said and done, when the playoffs is over, we got to start talking about him as a top 5, top 7 player in the NBA. And we damn sure got to call him a top 3, top 2 point guard in the NBA based off of not only what he did in the regular season, but what he's doing in the postseason, especially with the roster he has assembled around it.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Everybody's going to start to look at Indiana as a potential free agent destination, too. This is only the beginning of their little upbringing. If they can keep Halliburton there, let's say 5 years, they could turn into a very similar situation like Milwaukee and just go ahead and try to load up and run that Eastern Conference. I'm riding the Halliburton train. I ain't lying. That's my personal pick for who I want to see win the finals. That'd be who I'm rooting for. I think the other team that's going to join them, in my opinion, is probably the Thunder. Tonight they play at 7:30 in OKC. They're up 3-1. I'm worried that one's over too. I think this is writing on the wall here, G. What do you think's happening tonight in Oklahoma? I
think Ant pulls out another win.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Timberwolves find a way to get it done. And they force a game 6. A game 5. Yeah, they're gonna force a game 5. I just think it's gonna be too tough for them to win 3 straight against OKC. OKC is they made an adjustment versus what the Timberwolves did to them the game they won. And I'm sure the Timberwolves gonna make another adjustment tonight. But at the end of the day, OKC just has a better overall team, top to bottom. They have a lot of length all over the floor. 1 through 5, they can switch everything. It's tough. It's tough. I anticipate Andy Edwards putting his cape on tonight and forcing, another game. And this thing will be 3-2 after the night.
The odds right now for this game: Wolves 8.5-point underdogs, plus 280 on the money line. Slap that 8.5 then.
Take the Timberwolves. I'm telling you.
Might as well. That's a heavy spread,
bro. The views for the finals gonna be down if the Pacers and the OKC Thunder get there, bro. Like, I'm gonna watch it because again, I'm a basketball junkie. But the views gonna be down, bro. They're gonna be down. Nobody know who Pascal Siakam is. The average fan, they don't know who that is.
They forgot about the Raptors days, G.
The average fan don't know who Chet Holmgren is.
Obi Toppin.
The average fan don't know who Shea Alexander is. They don't know who that is. The average fan don't know who Halliburton is. What the hell?
What the hell?
I'm just saying, bro. So that's the only thing that concerns me about the finals, man.
This is gonna be like
if it goes how it looks like it's about to happen.
I think it will. This is a catapult moment for 2 smaller market franchises. They going ahead and showing off the little muscles. You know what I'm saying? And real quick before we hop out of here, well, what you got to say?
Shout out to Rick Carlisle, man. I think he need to get his flowers. A lot of people not talking about what he has done with that Pacers team, what he did with that Mavericks team that upset LeBron. Though. Wasn't he the head coach
Let's
of the
see.
Mavericks? If I'm not mistaken, I think Rick Carlisle was the head coach of that Mavericks team when they won the finals versus the Heat when Brian souped that team up. When nobody gave him a chance.
Yep, he was 2011.
Yeah, man. Rick Carlisle, give him his flowers, bro. One of the best coaches in the NBA. And again, man, to be winning with that roster when we're in an era of super teams is impressive.
I agree. Getting a conference title on both sides of the thing, get a little East, get a little West, showing it off. Pretty
And
damn
he's an
good.
old school coach. He's an old school coach, bro, doing it his way.
Keeping it true, making everybody adjust to him. Before we hop out of here, I want you to react to the Zion Williamson news. Pelicans fans are potentially confused here. Zion is supposedly going to be on the season or on the team for next season. Now, will he be healthy is a completely different question, G. But if you had to ask me, I thought he would have been moved. I thought the Pelicans might have wanted to blow this thing up, try to get what they can for him while they can. Here's my worry, and I'll pass it to you. I think Zion's value every single year is dropping. Obviously, you know, he's not going to be your top 10 player in the league like you were initially expecting. I think he's still really good. The health is the biggest concern. Everybody wants to bring up weight, all this different things. The Pelicans are in such a dire, desperate situation. Why not try to just go get some pieces, go get some picks, maybe some youth depth spots? I mean, you're not going to the playoffs anyway, G. So why? I don't get it. What's your take on it?
I said it at the trade deadline. They traded the wrong one. Y'all traded Brandon Ingram because you didn't want to pay him that max money. But what you should have did, you should have traded Zion Williamson because he is holding the franchise by their nutsack. He got him in his hand like this, holding him hostage. Why would you not try to move on from Zion Williamson? He keeps putting this franchise and setting them back year after year. Great talent. I think he's a generational talent, by the way. You need to move on from him before you can't get nothing for him.
Yeah.
That guy in Milwaukee looking for somewhere to go.
Hey, bro. Wait. I'm trying to see him in the 713, man, not the 504. That'd be cool.
Look. I want to go to the Rockets first. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
But if I'm Joe Dumars, I'm making a phone call to Milwaukee. Look, bro, we'll give y'all Zion. We'll give y'all 3. I'll give you 4 first-round picks. And you probably got to throw in Herb Jones. You bring Giannis in, pair him with C.J. McCollum, Trey Murphy,
DeJounte
Murray, bro. That'll be a really, really good roster. Messi, who they drafted from Baylor last year, I think he's very promising. You got Alvarado coming off the bench. I think that'll be a top 4, maybe top 3 team in the West. So for them to come on and say that they keeping Zion and they're not gonna move on from him, I think that's gonna be a mistake. And we're gonna be talking about this again come next year.
100%. I'm gonna drop a little stat before we hop out of here. I love finding a little interesting next gen stats, if you will. We'll call it the Verdin verdict stack of the week. Zion Williamson has missed more games than he's played. He's played in 214 games. He's missed 268 or 246. Excuse me. That is the equivalent to 3 seasons. He has not been on the court more than he's been on the bench, dog. He's wearing street clothes more than a Pelicans jersey.
Availability, dog. That's the name of the game when you get paid that kind of money. And he's barely available, bro. They got to move on from him. I think Joe Dumars is going to regret not doing it.
Hopefully this is just a situation where they're trying to just up that trade value. Like, nah, we ain't moving them. Go ahead. But, like, I mean, what
might be
left?
Playing chess. You're right. He might be playing chess. We're going to see.
It'll be interesting. I don't know. We're going to keep tabs on it. I'm about to hop out of here. Everybody, appreciate your time. We'll be live Friday at 12:30. Once again, you know the drill. Hit that like button before you hop out of here. Go in the description. Find where you get your social news. If it's Twitter, if it's Facebook, if it's Instagram. Follow my guy, G-Sportz. Got all his links there. Got all my links there. Appreciate your time, G. Y'all have a great one.
Don't play.
Don't play.